Hey, this is Matt with Doug Andrews Distributing. Today we're going to be talking about winter driving, everybody's favorite season to drive. Obviously it's going to be very different than summer driving. There's some things that I want to go over today that can help you, just kind of tips and tricks of how to survive the winter and not find yourself in a situation where you could get into an accident or have more problems than you need to have. And this isn't a comprehensive list, it's just some things that could be helpful. First off, just in the wintertime, you're going to want to pay more attention when you're inspecting your truck. You're going to want to keep a close eye on things. And one of the most important things is making sure what you have in the vehicle with you. Things like chains. You want to make sure you have a full set of chains, which is 2 sets of 3 railers and 2 sets of singles. You want to have plenty of the diesel fuel treat that lowers the freeze point on diesel when you refuel. You want to be sure that you're adding that to each tank as you refuel so you don't have problems with gelling up if the temperature starts to get really cold. Things like extra food and water, and don't run yourself so close to where you don't have anything extra and you get in a situation that could potentially be dangerous. So be sure and have food and water with you. So when we talk about actually driving in winter, when you start getting on that road that's icy, snow covered, what are some things you should do? Well, obviously you're going to want to slow down. That's the biggest thing. A lot of times there's a lot of truck drivers who think that because they're big and heavy, they can just keep going the way they've always driven. And that's simply not true. So you're going to want to slow down and make sure you're driving at the level that you feel comfortable for condition. Anytime you change the dynamic of your driving, you're going to want to do it slowly and smoothly. So you're going to want to anticipate your stops. You're going to want to anticipate your turns, things like that. So apply the brake very smoothly. Give yourself lots of room. When you're making a turn, you actually want to slow down until when you get to the turn, you actually want to be accelerating as you go into your turn. So slow down, and then as you're going into your turn, actually put your foot on the gas and give yourself a little bit of power so you have some maneuverability there instead of just trying to slam on the brakes. Because if the brakes lock up in a turn, generally you're going to be looking at a jackknifing. And so a lot of times we see a lot of guys get in accidents because they don't give themselves enough room, and then they try and make really quick decisions, stab the brakes, turn really quick, and then they can't make it, and then they end up in an accident. Just kind of an interesting fact, it takes 10 times longer to slow down and stop in icy conditions than it does in dry conditions. So keep that in the back of your mind. Give yourself quite a ways. Make sure you've got a lot of room, not only in front of you, but next to you as much as you can, and also try and encourage people behind you. If they want to go faster than you, to pull around. It's dangerous to have somebody hanging out right behind you. In the winter, I would recommend running your headlights and marker lights all the time, 24/7, especially in bad weather. If even if it's not snowing, if there's snow on the road when you're driving, that snow is swirling around your vehicle and it can make it hard to see. And so lights just give you a little bit extra visibility there. If you get into a situation where you are in what we call whiteout conditions, where the visibility is so low that you just can't see very far in front of you, the best thing to do if you get in a situation like that, don't stop in the roadway. Whatever you do, don't stop in the roadway. Slow down and try and make it to a spot where you can pull off safely and stop. You do not want to leave yourself in the roadway. That's almost a sure recipe for an accident. So slow down, and then when you find a place that's safe to pull over, go ahead and do so. A few other things to keep with you in your truck in the wintertime is extra warm clothes, tools, jumper cables, your extra fluids, oil, washer fluid. In fact, in the wintertime, I would recommend stocking up on washer fluid because a lot of times you'll get dirty, either snow, rain, whatever, coming up on your windshield, and so you'll be using washer fluid quite a bit more. Something else to watch out for is that on the road surface, so if you're just on a regular road surface, it's actually fairly insulated. It takes a while for that road to freeze. The same is not true of bridges. So oftentimes you'll see a warning sign that says, warning, bridge freezes before road. Remember that when you go over bridges, Don't make any sudden changes. Slow down because the bridge will freeze and be a much slicker surface than the rest of the roadway quicker. One thing that you'll want to avoid is, so if you're in snowy, icy conditions, avoid using your cruise control. You want to be able to have control of your vehicle at all times. I know it's nicer to have cruise control and be able to just click it in there and then go, but you really don't want to have to fight that in a situation where you have to make some quick decisions. I would recommend that you don't use your cruise control in those situations. If it's clear and dry in the wintertime, sure, great. But anytime there's any kind of precipitation, go ahead and leave that off. Another one is engine brakes. Don't use your engine brake on slippery road surfaces. Engine brakes can, especially if you have them on their most aggressive setting, can cause the tires to slip and put you in a situation you don't want to be in. If at all possible, avoid using your engine brakes. And then something else, just, wintertime, your windows want to get foggy, iced up. Be sure you're using your defrost setting. Turn on the air conditioning, and you can still have heat, but use the air conditioning setting and then turn on the defroster, and that'll get your windows clear faster than any other setting. This isn't a comprehensive list of everything you should do in the wintertime. This is just some helpful tips on what to do when you're out there to make sure that you don't get yourself in trouble. Thanks.